Good morning, everyone. It's Michael here again from Active Insight, and I'm joined for the third and final time, I'm sad to say, by Lisa Forsyth from Max Associates. How are you this morning, Lisa?
Morning, Mike. I'm good. I'm glad to be back. Looking forward to this third session.
Yeah, okay. So I've got the infographics that we put together where we've collated all these surveys we've been doing over the last few years. We know it's based on thousands of responses, and we've come up with these really interesting insights. And we're just going to kick off again, reminding people on top barriers to exercise. And you can see on that our screen, folks, that number one is lack of time. We've talked about that. Number two or number three is poor facilities. What we haven't talked about yet is costs at 29% financial barriers to participation. So then one of the things that I want to discuss with you, Lisa, is when we look again at that infographic that's talking about costs being what I've called the universal barrier. And why do we call it universal? Even though it's not number one for some people, it's consistently ranks within the top three barriers, regardless of age, gender, or activity. And you can see the key headline figure there, where we're differentiating 68% of people are saying it's a barrier if they're inactive, slightly less if they're active. So I guess my first question to you is, does that surprise you, Lisa?
Good question. I guess, at face value, don't we always say, price is a barrier? I think it's worth reminding lack of time, being that highest on
Mhm.
average, but time and cost, seem to be, as you say, we've asked sort of these surveys for a number of years and it comes up all the time. I guess it's first of all is it's interesting, obviously, and we talked about this before in terms of active. So still 50% of active people find cost a barrier, to being more active. And we know that's across people who either undertake free activities, walking, cycling, gardening, compared to
Mhm.
using facilities. So even for people who are active, it's a barrier to being more active. And of course, nearly 70% of people who responded who were inactive find it a barrier. And that's the bit that we want to get underneath, because there's a couple of things that come to mind for me when price is a barrier. Is it genuinely the price is the single barrier? And if we got rid of price, would people be
Mhm.
active? Because it's easy to say we've all, worked in concessions and, if you look at it at a certain concession and if you can come off peak, and I appreciate we go back to the time slots, to swim for 3, 4, 5 quid is much less expensive, and you can just go for a walk, which is obviously free. So this is an interesting one. So what I want to, maybe ask you in terms of the work that
Mhm.
you do, how do we understand whether it's, in my mind, is it a value proposition? Because if somebody genuinely values something, and I'll use the easy one of the moment, everybody needs a phone and everybody's quite happy to pay
Yeah.
their monthly, price for a phone. Is it a value, or is it something different, which might be confidence? I.e.,
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you that I'm not confident or I don't know where to start. So I'll, in a survey, I'll just say price is the barrier. And it's how
Yeah.
do we use our engagement to get under those things. So I guess I'm throwing it a little bit back in terms of
Yeah. No,
engagement and how do we do it?
that's absolutely fine. And we've both been in many focus groups with inactive people, and when you do drill down, I always say that I think there's only 10% of the population where the cost, the price of doing something is really a barrier. I think for most other people, they don't it's a value proposition, and a lot of people don't understand the value that they may get from not so much swimming, but I'd say from group exercise classes, going into the gym. A lot of people haven't been into a leisure centre for since they were a child, for 40 or 50 years. So they don't understand how things changed, and they don't understand, hopefully, the support and encouragement they're going to get, and perhaps the specific targeted sessions that may be available to them compared to what was available, when they went last in as a child, or they went in perhaps with their own children, accompanying them to swimming lessons. And I also always go back to, you'll remember the days when the government put finance and money behind free swimming. And what happened with free swimming was that, yes, we had a lot more people coming in to swim initially, A lot of those people were already active, doing other stuff, but thought, yes, if the swimming's free, I'm going to come in. And then it tailed off. And we didn't actually end up with many new people who are inactive and not swimming before, 6 months later, still swimming. So I don't believe, from that sort of experience and from focus group work, that it's a major barrier for a lot of people. I think if we can make them understand, the value around these activities that we're providing, and in particular for these inactive people, and particularly older inactive people, make them more aware of hopefully targeted sessions with people that are like them, with their peers, and that gives them some sort of motivation, address the confidence barrier, and encouragement barriers, then I think that provides a package which can overcome this whole price cost thing. Would you
Okay.
generally agree with that, or?
Yeah, no, I think there's a couple of things, and I know when
Mm,
I've seen the surveys, there's the obviously the perception of the price of the activity,
mhm,
and then there's the price of either getting there, so
yeah,
transport, but also, and do I have to be wearing the right kit? So,
yeah,
do
yeah,
I have to buy my leggings and, look the part, as it were? And of course, with sports, sometimes you need equipment as well. But I absolutely understand what you're saying, and I think it's this going back to, and I guess we've had these conversations in these other sections, is actually speaking to people and trying to get underneath
definitely.
the barrier. So I understand you've said cost is your initial barrier. Let's just pull this apart a little bit more and trying to get underneath these themes. Because I guess if we keep as an industry saying, price and time are the two key barriers, but we're not getting under the skin of that, we're not going to
Hmm.
make a significant impact in understanding the real barriers and motivations for people that are not active yet. And it might simply be doing it with other people, confidence, we'll meet in the park and we go for a walk where, there's less of a price either to do the activity or to wear the right kit, that would be
Yeah,
important. So it's getting that balance, isn't it?
definitely, definitely. No, very good point. Okay, let's leave it there. I just want to finish off by saying there is an infographic which is available to people, and when we post these out, we'll make sure people can download them. Really enjoyed doing the research, collating these responses we've had, and looking at a national picture with you, Lisa, and talking through these key barriers. And thanks a lot for your time today. It's been really interesting discussions.
Fabulous. Thanks for your time too. Cheers, Mike.
Bye now.